There's a rubber gasket here in between the bed and the cab. I think that's more just for looks than anything else. Now regarding the truck, there's a keypad here for entry. I've had this before on my previous F-150s. Again, I had an 04 and I had a 2004 and I had a 2011. Locking and unlocking the truck, I push this button and the truck is locked. And then I put my hand on the inside of this and the truck is unlocked. Of course, that's because I have the key fob in my pocket, so it senses how far away I am from the vehicle. I have power running boards. You know, at first I was a little wary about having power running boards because I really wanted rock sliders, because I do take this truck off-road. This is not a pavement princess by any means, but I actually like it. It's nice and wide. Actually, I'll take a quick measurement here. Yeah, so it's about 16 centimeters wide, which is pretty damn wide. I mean, good enough. Good enough for my size, 12 feet. One of the things I really like is there's so much storage space. There's more storage space on this than there ever was on my 2004 F-150, my 2011 F-150, my 2003 Ram 1500. Now, because this is a sport package, it does have red accents. There's red stitching on the leather, as well as the red stitching on the leather on the dash. It does have the panoramic roof, and it does have sport embroidered or embossed on the leather. Now, this being a crew cab is very spacious. I'm 185 centimeters tall, and I fit in the back without any issues at all. One of the things that I test how spacious a vehicle is if I can go from the driver's side front to the driver's side rear without having to adjust the seats or anything like that, then I know that the vehicle is spacious. There are little pockets in the back here, and like I said, there's red stitching on the leather. Now, there's a lot of discussion about leather on vehicles. Some cup holders here. And again, I spent the whole entire weekend detailing this, but there's still some things. There's a grab handle here. A lot of storage space. I just have this cooler that I travel with, but moving it aside, you'll see the rear vents here. The rear seats are heated. There's a power outlet here in the back, and 2 USB ports, plus a cigarette lighter. So there's ample power in the back. Now, for those who are curious, what will these power up? There are certain devices that these will not power up for whatever reason, whether it's pure sine, semi-sine, or I'm not into all that technical stuff, but I will tell you that a lot of people are not able to charge their devices on these factory Ford inverters. I myself, I use a Milwaukee battery set for a lot of my tools, and I cannot charge my Milwaukee battery set on the factory Ford inverter. These seats come up just by pulling up, and they lock into place. And here is additional storage. I will get another, I'll get probably a Husky liner or something off Amazon that'll extend this further just to keep things a little bit more organized. And then, since this is locked, to unlock it, just pull it down and it goes down. I'll do the same thing on the other side. To access the rear jack, this folds down. I don't know where the hell this mess came from. Son of a bitch. Have to clean that later on. Yeah, this is where the rear jack stowage is. And behind there you'll see there's a subwoofer and such. Some guys, they have a latch system where they could actually take this this driver's side seat. So the center seat and the driver's side seat are all one piece. There's a latch that they could install where you could actually pull this down. There's extra storage. There's no extra storage on mine because mine's a Lariat. It has a subwoofer and a bunch of other stuff in the back there. So that's why I never bothered with that. But here, fold the seat up. It locks into place. And there's a little bit of extra storage. This is the power inverter. And that's the rear seat. Again, plenty of storage. Now, the windows are tinted to the legal limit. Every single province has different regulations regarding tint. My rear windows are tinted so dark. I mean, it's a little bit of an overcast day, but even on a very sunny day, you can't really see inside here. And that's what I like. If I'm car camping or anything like that, I could lie down in here and nobody would see me. I'd have privacy. I will feature a video. One of my next videos will be about stealth car camping. Yeah, those LEDs on the mirrors are very bright. They're awesome in the dark. Yeah, so this is the passenger side. That's my breakfast, which I haven't had yet. Just set it aside. Now, 2 cup holders behind the center armrest, 2 cup holders in the front. This is like a little removable tray. This is some extra storage. Now, if I plug in any device onto these USBs, they go directly to the truck. So that's Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or whatever the hell it is. And then I have additional outlets here as well. Again, this 400 watt AC outlet. Depending on what you're charging, it won't work at all. There's additional storage in here on the sides of the center console. Now oh, here, oh no it isn't, shit. Now I'm trying to, oh, yeah, shit, I can't find it. I hope I didn't misplace it, but yeah, that twin turbos decal, I wonder where it went. So this is a removable tray. I will be creating another video sometime soon featuring my CRKT series knives, M16 series knives. These are tactical folders. but you could see how deep and how big the storage space is in the center console here. The glove box here. This is where I keep the owner's manual. It's meant specifically for the owner's manual, wheel locks, everything, whatever. I'm not too concerned about this being displayed in the public for the world. I mean, that's just how it is. I'll be discussing the trim and quality of the build in a moment. This has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. I mean, I don't really listen to music much. When I'm driving, I listen more to podcasts. You know what? How about let's fire this up and I'll go over some of the things here. So I'll hop onto the driver's side. I usually just keep the keys in there. I don't like driving having keys in my pocket. Yes, the front windows are tinted, but they're not tinted very dark in the back. This is a nano tint, so it stops so much of the UVA, UVB light, and it does keep the interior much cooler. It is expensive, very expensive, but it's well worth it. If you're ever going to tint your windows, do it once and do it with a quality tint. Start the truck, step on the brake. This does not use traditional ignition. It's a push button start. Now, when I start the truck, it automatically goes to my preset driving position, and when I turn the truck off, it slides the seat back for easier entry and access. So you could see here I have 104,000 kilometers on it, on Cuddle Buddy here. So I'll go over some of the controls. So these controls here will control the display. And this is the standard display that I normally use. This is for cruise control, which I pretty much never use at all. These are my phone controls. And these controls here control what's on the navigation or on the radio or things like that. These here, these control my mirrors, and I can also lock out the windows for all the passengers. I could also, this button right here folds the mirrors in and out, which has come, you know, that's been very useful when squeezing into tight spots. Of course, there are the window controls. Lock and unlock, and 3 presets for 3 different drivers. This controls how bright or how dim the cluster is on the display. Probably won't be able to see it too much. Press the OK button. The parking brake, these have power adjustable pedals. This button here is for the fog light. This button here is for the rear bed light, and these obviously control lighting. This is for the automatic lighting. I drive with my lights on always, and these two buttons will activate can't really see it from here, but these two buttons here will activate the mirrors, the lights outside the mirrors, and this is incredibly awesome at night to show everything, see everything around you when you're off-roading and it's getting dark, or if you're in a parking lot and you want to see some stuff, or it's rainy and you want to look outside and make sure there's not a puddle you hop into. That's fantastic. Now these only operate if you have your lights on, as you can see. If you don't have your lights on, they don't work. This is right here. That's for my trailer gain. Now, since I just tried to operate it, shows that the trailer is, there's no trailer connected. The truck knows when there's a trailer connected to it. So that's for my trailer brake control. This is for my backup, being able to turn easily just using the backup camera. I don't have a trailer to test this out on at the moment. And obviously this is my four-wheel drive system. You'll notice this has 4 settings: 2 high, 4 automatic, 4 high, and 4 low. I never really use 4 automatic. I either use 4 high or 4 low, and if I pull, that will lock the rear differential. It is an electronic locking differential. These are the up here are the controls for the the radio and media and everything. It does have a it has a CD player still, but hey, whatever. Cool. I don't have it turned on right now, and this is a touchscreen, so make a closer look. Audio, climate. I don't use the climate controls on the touchscreen. I use the physical ones. Phone. Navigation is what I normally keep it on. There are apps here and various settings. So audio, I could play different things. Just standard climate control settings. Phone, I could phone somebody, send a text message, whatever. Navigation. I don't use the navigation really. I mean, I just use Google Maps on my phone, which I just mount right here. Apps, I mean, whatever. I'm not really into this stuff like that when I'm driving. And of course, like I said, these are the settings. Also, some of the things up top here. So this here is hill descent control. It's like cruise control for when you're going off-roading. Oh shit, my phone is starting to overheat. Hopefully I can continue this video. I might have to cut it. This is stability control. You cannot completely defeat this. This will not completely turn off. You could turn it off just for shits and giggles and just to have a little bit of fun, but you cannot totally turn it off. This is the hazard lights. This is the camera, and I'll use that in just a moment here. You know what? Let's see if I turn on my air conditioning. Let's see if it'll cool off this phone. I'd like to be able to make this video without too many interruptions here. So this is like I said, this is the camera. This is the start-stop disable, automatic start-stop disable. There are different driving modes, and normally the truck will shut off when you're at a stop for a certain period of time. But this camera system is fantastic. So I'll just show some of the camera. That's the front view, and you'll see there's an overhead view. The resolution overall is not that great, but it's not bad. I mean, it's good enough that I could navigate and I could back up and park the truck and everything and go off-roading fairly easily. Now, at a certain speed, the truck will not allow the use of the cameras. So when I'm going off-roading, if I'm in 4 low and I'm just crawling, I could still use the cameras, but otherwise I cannot. So here's an overhead view with grid lines show, just for safety, so you can open your door. There's enough room for you to open your doors and exit the vehicle if need be. Here's the front view, and you'll see it shows which position that camera is, which camera it's using. There's another front view. All 3 cameras in the front. And when reversing, I'm going to go into reverse. And that's my reverse view there. And if I turn the steering wheel, it estimates where I will end up with the vehicle. Shows the white lines as to where the sides of the vehicle will end up, not the tires, but where the sides of the vehicle will end up, plus a black center line which indicates the center of the vehicle. And of course, I could turn the parking aid on or off, and I generally keep it on. One of the awesome things about this truck, and I tell you because it's been a hot summer. It's been a hot summer, and I know a lot of the climate change activists and all the people who worship Greta Thunberg and follow that cult of bullshit. They're talking about climate change this, climate change that, whatever. Look, it's been a hot summer regardless, and I mentioned that because this does have heated seats in the front, but it also has cooled and ventilated seats, and you could feel these right away. This is awesome. Oh, I'm still in reverse. I'll put it back into park. Now I'm just going to activate the passenger side. And it does cool the seat. It's not a hot day right now. Yesterday was bloody hot. This whole weekend was bloody hot. This is the only somewhat decent day, temperature-wise. Could be a little sunnier, but that's all right. So that's the interior. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the build quality. So I've had this, it's 104,000 kilometers, and obviously it shows signs of wear. I do not beat the piss out of vehicles that I own. I always take care of them. You could see that throughout. Like, I do spend a lot of time. I spent the whole weekend detailing this truck. I degreased the whole thing, painted the frame. This is like an annual thing that I do. I clay barred the interior, polished it up, waxed it, everything. And some of the interior pieces, I mean, unless you get into a Limited or a Raptor, which I was considering at the time of purchase, and I'll discuss those things shortly. A lot of the plastic, it just feels cheap, honestly. On a vehicle this expensive, it's hard for me to imagine that that Ford used such cheap plastic. I mean, the plastic here feels like something out of a Fisher-Price toy made in China plastic. The leather on the seats, I believe, is real leather, but everything else is this simulated leather. And whether you agree with that or not because of animal rights or whatever, that's your own belief system. But for this price, again, I would have preferred real leather, right? I mean, the stitching is nice and everything, but as far as the plastic is concerned, it feels really cheap. And over the course of time, you know, the tolerance on the plastic, with heat cycling and everything, the fit and the finish of the plastic starts to degrade, and then you get these big gaps. Like for here for example, this is the hood latch. I'll pop that open. That's coming off by the glove box. This whole thing is kind of deformed. I mean, for the most part, everything else, the fit and finish on everything else, tolerance-wise is still good, but just the feel, like this is all cheap plastic. You know, you could feel it right there. That is a little disappointing, especially considering, you know, for when I was shopping around, I looked at there were three other vehicles I was considering. I was considering a Range Rover Sport. I was considering a full-size Range Rover, and then I was also considering a Ram 1500 Rebel. Now, I decided against the Range Rovers eventually, and it boiled down to the F-150 or the Ram 1500. And the Ram Rebel, to me, the two things that made me choose the Ford over the Ram Rebel, the Rams have a little dial indicator. It's like where this would be is like the gear shift. I like having a traditional gear shift. You won't see me in a GM because they have the column shift, and that to me is absolute rubbish. I absolutely hate those. If I'm spending $80,000-$90,000 on a truck and it has a column shift, that's rubbish. That's the Denali's, the GMC Denali's that have that column shift. That's absolute rubbish. Like do something more creative. Have something like a console shift like this. But the Ram has their 8-speed transmission has a dial indicator here, so park, reverse, neutral, drive, and all that would be on a dial. I did not like that at all. Also, the Ram Rebel, it's not really something I could compare to this Lariat, because the Ram Rebel is Ram's competitor to the Ford Tremor. The Ram Rebel does not come with a 2-meter long bed, and I needed a 2-meter long bed, so that was basically why I did not go with the Ram. And then from a price point, in my area at least, the Fords, even though the Fords are far more plentiful and they sell far more Fords than they do sell Rams, Ram is much less expensive than the Ford. I could get a hell of a lot more truck for the dollar with Ram than I ever could with a Ford. The Fords are just bloody pricey. But, you know, I'm happy with my purchase. I'm happy with Cuddle Buddy. Have a lot of adventures coming right up. Now moving up to the top.